Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of the Cooking Without Looking TV show. It's the St. Vincent Island edition. I'm Alan Preston.
Hey, hi, Ellen, and everybody else out there. I'm Annette Watkins. Alan, we have been anxiously awaiting for the show from St. Vincent, so we're so excited today. We're going to be filming from the Grenadines in the Caribbean in St. Vincent.
Yes, St. Vincent is a volcanic island, as I have learned, and the largest island of the country, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's located in the Caribbean Sea between St. Lucius and Grenada. Grenada.
Yeah, tomato. Either way, it's said both ways. But St. Vincent is composed of primarily volcanoes that are submerged in the ocean, and it has the largest volcano and the country's largest peak, which is pronounced in a French way, is La Soufriere. It's active. In fact, it was active in December of 2020 and intensified again in April of 2021.
There's approximately 130,000 people currently living on the island. The population saw a significant migration to the United Kingdom in the early 1900s and between the 1940s and 1980s. The main island consists of the capital, Kingstown, with the rest of the island divided into 5 main coastal strip towns.
Wow, Alan, you're like a walking encyclopedia. Well, I'm going to tell you also that St. Vincent, it's famous for its incredible landscaping, so beautiful. It's amazing. The volcanic scenery exceeds everything around it.
Well, actually, it was with Renee's help that I can do this. Thank you, Renee. With that in mind, we have Cheryl Adams, president of an organization called Voice of the Disabled, which she runs daily.
Yes, Cheryl started her organization in 2016 and just celebrated her 6th anniversary. We'll find out more about that later, so stay tuned.
But now let's welcome Cheryl, who'll show us how to make her Vincy Boil-Up.
Yes, that's an interesting name. I can't wait to see it too.
Yeah.
Welcome, Cheryl. It is wonderful to meet you today. We're so excited and we want to hear about your recipe, but do you have any other description of your beautiful island? Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, we normally say, let me say good evening. Thank you for having me on the show today. And coming from the beautiful island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we normally say the gem of the Antilles. And
yes,
we are beautiful and friendly persons living on this island. So just in case you want to visit, you want a vacation, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, it's a beautiful place to be.
I'd love to come visit. I was just thinking the other day, how close is that to Florida? Do you have any idea?
Not really, but I don't think we are too far away from Florida.
Yeah, I think you're pretty close if you're in the Caribbean. But, you know, before we get into all that and your wonderful recipe, Cheryl, tell us a little bit about your blindness journey.
Okay, so I was told that I lost my sight at the age of 2.
4?
And I am every time I talk about this, I get a bit emotional because no one seemed to be able to give me the reason for the loss of my sight. But I was told that at the age of 2 is when I lost my sight. I grew up with my aunt, and she seemed not to be able to tell me what was the reason. I visited an eye doctor a couple of years ago, and all he said to me, I need to go back and ask my aunt the cause of my blindness. Unfortunately, she is now passed on from this life. So I did not get to question her as I should. So I am not really sure for the cost of my blindness.
Right, right. Well, yes, I could understand how that would be frustrating because you don't really have any closure about it. But from just hearing you speak a little, you sound like a very upbeat, happy person, regardless the cause. You're able to do a lot of fun things, from what I understand. In fact, today's recipe is going to be fantastic. Can you tell us a little bit about your recipe? Is it a tradition of your country, of St. Vincent's? Tell us a little bit more about your recipe.
Well, today I did what we call a Vincy, V-I-N-C-Y, boiled up. And basically, I have breadfruit, I have banana, I have plantain, I have yam and dasheen, and I add some dumpling to it so it can be complete, along with pumpkin and some turkey parts.
So you have pumpkin in your recipe?
Yes, we have some
Oh.
pumpkin.
Perfect for the month of November, as far as we're concerned. We love pumpkin.
Absolutely.
We're excited. So why don't you get started and give us the steps and show how it's done.
Okay, well, I am finished. Actually, I'm finished cooking. So what I did, I peel the yam. You will see it in the bowl. I peel the breadfruit. I peel the banana and the plantain. I season the turkey with what we call blend seasoning. I don't know if you will be able to see it here in the.
That is a huge container. That looks like a protein powder container. What kind of spices are in there, Cheryl?
What we did, we normally make our local seasoning. So we have some stive, we have sticky thyme, we have onion and garlic. And so we blend them together with some vinegar, and we use salt. So this is what we make, we call our local seasoning. So we use this to season our meat with other seasoning to flavor it, flavor pepper, etc. So we blend all of that, and then we put it into a container, and we will keep it in the fridge. So when we are ready to do our meat or whatever, cook our pot, we just take it out and add a bit into our pot. So I would have used this to season the turkey. So I season the turkey and I put it on to boil for about 10 minutes. I didn't bother to pressure it today because I started early. And then I add what we call the breadfruit, because sometimes that could take a little long to boil. So I add the breadfruit. And then after the turkey and the breadfruit is finished boiling, I add the dasheen, the yam, and the banana. And then just before the pot simmer down, I add pumpkin and some flavor pepper with some onions and salt to taste, right?
Okay.
So everything are already boiled in. So what we do, we put it in the pot and we boil it in with water. Yeah.
Is it like a soup consistency or what kind of?
Yes, it is like a soup. So you will see it is like a soup. And it is very common here in St. Vincent. And it's one of my favorite dishes.
It's one of your favorite dishes. Okay.
Yes, after when Rennie is her name, I think she wanted to see something different. So
that's definitely different. Definitely different.
I decided I'll do something different today. So the pot is on the stove. You may not be able to see in the pot. But
I think it's like a black pot, right?
I can see the pot there, yes.
a big pot, yes, a boiled pot, or we can call it a pot that we do our boil up in a stew pot. right? And then we cook it for about 15 minutes because the hardest thing would have been there to cook was the turkey, right? So after that is cooked and we have added everything in, it will take about 15 minutes to cook. So
That's pretty quick.
we finish
Yeah.
cooking and it is there in the bowl.
Oh, it looks very hearty.
Okay.
Yeah.
That looks like very good turkey soup.
And let me
Oh.
see if I can have some.
You're
Let
gonna
me see.
taste it for us, okay? That's no fair. We don't get any of that.
It's tasting nice. Wow, and it's really smelling delicious.
Wow.
So it's a Vincy Boil-Up with breadfruit, banana. We have dumpling. Well, the dumpling we use some flour and we need the flour with a bit of salt. Some persons put a little bit of sugar and we roll it and we put it into the pot. So when I said to my husband I was going to do this pot, he said it would not be complete without dumplings. So I have to get dumpling into it, but I'm not a lover of dumpling, but he loved dumplings. So he said it wouldn't be complete without the dumplings. So I put the dumpling inside.
Okay. You gotta listen to him. He wants something really hearty, and the dumplings will make it that way for sure. What is the predominant flavor? How would you describe the flavor for us?
Oh, how would I describe the flavor? It has, well, it depends on who cook it and how the person like to have it taste, because you know, we do it, we cook it taste into the flavor of our choice. Whether some persons like a lot of salt or some persons do not like a lot of salt. So the flavor would vary. It has various tastes, depends on the cooker.
Okay. And that breadfruit, Cheryl, is that native to St. Vincent's?
The breadfruit?
The breadfruit. I've never had it before. I don't know much about it, but is it native to St. Vincent?
Well, I was taught in school that some guy, I can't remember the name of the country he came from, Captain Blige, brought it to St. Vincent.
From where?
That's what I'm saying. I can't remember from where.
Well, let's make up something. He brought breadfruit. He brought it from maybe another Caribbean island, probably.
Yes.
Well, Annette, I remember another show that we did. I remember another show we did not too long ago at one of the Caribbean islands that they also had breadfruit. So I wouldn't be too surprised if it wasn't somebody like Columbus that might have brought it there.
Right. Yeah, Columbus.
But we have a lot of trees in St. Vincent, a lot of breadfruit trees.
Nice.
And with the breadfruit, we can cook it into Vincy Boil-Up. We can also roast it. We can roast it in the oven, or we normally go outside and make a coal pot fire and roast the breadfruit, or we can just steam it and have some chicken stew down and have a stew with it.
Okay, it gives me the idea that it's kind of
Or
the
we
texture.
can use the breadfruit also with saltfish.
Okay, it kind of
I would
reminds
call
me
it
that it's
saltfish.
like a squash, maybe like a squash texture of some sort.
Oh, the breadfruit. Oh, yes, my plan was to show you what it looked like. Wow.
Right, that feels very I don't know, it's very soft, but yet very solid kind of fruit.
The breadfruit is a solid, it have a solid texture to it and it have a lot of skin.
Right.
On it.
Well, let me ask you, we change the subject a little, and then Alan, please jump in and if you have any questions. But Cheryl, I was just wondering what the most challenging thing for you in the kitchen is. We didn't get to see you really chop everything, as far as I know. I didn't see you chop any of those vegetables or breadfruit. But what is the biggest challenge for you in the kitchen, and what comes easy for you in the kitchen, and what comes a little more difficult, a little more of a challenge, being blind?
I will be very honest with you. I've been cooking from young. So I don't really have much of a challenge in
Okay,
the kitchen unless someone come and move up my stuff.
definitely. Yeah, if they move your stuff around, that would be a challenge.
Yes.
We all have a problem
My
with
stuff
that.
is moved around, then I will have challenge. And in I have different containers with different things. If you notice, I have this container and this has the salt in it.
Mhm.
So if when I'm ready for my salt, I cannot find it, then I will become very frustrated,
Sure,
right?
Mm.
But
sure.
unless once everything is where I have it in the kitchen, I just move around the kitchen as normal. I used to be afraid to use matches, and then I used to use what we call a lighter, but no, we don't. I use the matches. I'm no longer afraid of that.
Okay, good.
Right.
Yeah, fear is not a good thing. And if you overcome your fear, your blindness, you proceed and succeed in many things for sure. And your husband, does he go in the kitchen and then what's his visual acuity? Does he get regular vision?
He loves the kitchen. So basically, when he is at home, I does nothing.
Is your husband sighted, Cheryl?
Yes, he is yes, he is sighted.
He is a sighted person. Okay, I'm just curious. And your children?
Yes, I have one daughter. She's 26, and she's presently at the University, West Indies University in Trinidad.
But
Oh.
she's normally sighted.
And she's sighted, and she's studying to become a nutritionist.
Interesting.
How exciting. You must be very proud of her.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I am.
Alan, do you have any other questions about her vision or her recipe until we move on?
I had a real quick question about that recipe, Cheryl. I was looking down at the recipe itself. Do you use specifically just chicken wings?
Well, I didn't do chicken wing today, but we can, whatever we choose to put in the pot, we can. So what I
Okay.
did, I used the parts of turkey and
Sorry, turkey wings, not chicken wings, turkey wings. My apologies.
yes,
I'm thinking we're at the football game and I'm eating chicken wings.
yeah, turkey wings.
But
But other
I found that kind of interesting because you were able to cook them up rather quickly. They would cook a lot quicker than most of the other parts.
yeah, so
I'm sorry.
Hello,
Did we lose
hello?
anybody?
Cheryl, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Cheryl, listen, we just love your recipe, wish we could try it, but we also love that you started a great organization. We want to find out more about your organization called Voice of the Disabled, okay? So please tell us your thoughts and how and why you created this organization, Cheryl.
Voice of the Disabled came around due to the fact that we had one organization, national organization at the time, claiming that they are the umbrella for persons with disability,
Mhm.
but the organization seemed as if it was very stagnant and we were not being properly represented.
Mhm.
And other persons with disability came and said to me, we want you to do something on our behalf. And so, you know, I was very hesitant. I didn't want to. But one day I heard a voice saying, why not become an advocate
Mhm.
for persons with disability? And after keep hearing that voice in my mind, then I called, you know, persons with disabilities, parents with children with special needs. And on the 22nd of October 2016, we met, we had a meeting, and there is where Voice of the Disabled came about.
Okay, so you said you met together. How did you know to reach all those people and I'm thinking, how many people with disabilities in St. Vincent and how many of those are visually impaired or blind? And you were able to get people together in the town? It's a small village, but how did you get everybody together?
Well,
And get to the
because
meeting.
I am also a teacher. I taught at a school for children with special needs for about 19 years.
Oh,
So
okay.
I know the persons with disability. I know the parents who have children that are challenging, you know. So it made it easy for me to reach persons. And we do not only have blind or visually impaired person, but we have all type of disability, persons with disability in our organization.
Okay, good. So you had access to them and very close to you since you were there for 19 years. You knew a lot of people in the community. What are some of the things your organization does for people with disabilities, Cheryl?
Well, as we said, we advocate on their behalf. So oftentimes I will talk to the Ministry of Education concerning our students who are in special needs, our students who now inclusive education in the secondary school. They would have passed the exam and now they're in secondary school. We normally do our food baskets for our members. We have programs. Today we had CCSLC program. We have scrap mat making and craft and a whole set of things we are here doing at the center. And we spend a lot of time in 2021 and just about in August renovating our building as well, because it was a dilapidated building when we got it. So we had some donations from Australia and other anonymous donors who don't wish their name to be mentioned. And so we were able to upgrade our beautiful kitchen that you are seeing now and our building.
So great to get donations like that. That's wonderful.
Cheryl,
I thought you were going to meet at the school, but you meet at a different building. That's pretty cool.
I have a couple of questions about your population of people with disabilities. It seems that your island has roughly 380,000 people. Do you just work with people on your island, or do you have people from other islands come in?
Well, for now we work with persons mostly on my island, but about 2019 we had some persons from North America and Jamaica came in and did some training with the Ministry of Education, and that was able to be done through Voice of the Disabled.
And then how many disabled people are on your island?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not able to answer that, but I hope one of these days we'll be able to do a survey and we'll be able to find out how many persons living with disability here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
How many people do you work with?
Now I am working with about 60 persons.
Oh, okay.
60, that's quite a bit. Do you have any help? You have any helpers or assistants in your organization?
Well, yes, we have young ladies and staff. They have been supplied by the government through a youth empowerment program. We call it the YES program. So they will supply us with staff because we are not able to pay staff as yet. So the government help us out in this area.
Okay, so you're a 501(c)(3), a volunteer organization, a charity, correct?
Yes, we're a charity. We're a non-profitable organization.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for, nonprofit, yeah. Excellent. Well, that's a very good thing you're doing for sure. That's awesome.
It certainly is. Yes, you should. You sound like the go-to person for people with disabilities in St. Vincent.
Well, I believe my calling is to represent persons with disability, because a lot of us here in disability, we are marginalized, pushed aside. Sometimes I feel that we are being discriminated against. So this organization is here to say, hello, we are persons just like you. Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. And much progress in the future.
So we are here as voice of the disabled, but we have our own challenge as an organization, because you know the majority of persons with disability, they are not what to say, trained. So that is one of my challenge, is to get training for them in different skills so they can become self-employed and not just depend on handouts. Yes, we love it when persons donate. So we are not saying we are not appreciating the donations, but I want to see my persons with disability become independent, you know, and can really take care of themselves.
Right.
So one of our great challenge though, as the organization, is transportation. Yes, getting the persons to the center and home, it's a bit challenging. So we are in the process of, you know, writing proposals and asking donors out there, you know, if they can, you know, donate a bus, you know, to us. So we wouldn't have that great challenge getting the members back to their home, because traveling on public transportation is very difficult, and sometimes the treatment, you know, that is handed out to us is not, it's not pretty. Yes. So we need a bus to help us, you know, get to point A and to point B.
What is the average age of your participants?
18 to about 65.
Okay. And how many of those are blind, approximately?
Let me see. About 80 to 65. Let me see. Blind. I think the majority of them are blind, you know.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't quite hear that. Can you repeat that, please?
I think the majority are blind persons.
The majority are blind?
Yeah.
I
Because
see.
when we have meeting, the majority that comes out to the meeting are blind. And many more wish to come out, but because we don't have the resources, you know, and the finance to get them out, I just have to sometimes, you know, leave them at home, you know, which is very sad, because, you know, they hardly go out. They are
Right.
hardly out. So whenever we have enough function here, they look forward to it.
Sure, sure, yeah, because they feel isolated otherwise.
Yes, they do. So this center is here to make them feel welcome and make them feel, you know, at home.
I kind of like your volcanic island nation. I think that must be very beautiful. I like going caving and exploring in caves. I bet there's a lot of caves around there too.
I didn't get that one.
Well, that's quite all right. I'm just sitting back here admiring your volcanic island and how beautiful.
Oh, okay. And I am not living too far from the volcano.
Oh, really?
Okay. I wonder if any of our other audience has any questions for Cheryl about her recipe or about her organization or about us. Any questions? Help us out here, Renee.
Well, I have a question.
Yes.
I want to know what happens. I mean, it's not funny, but I'm just wondering, how do you get a warning if the volcano is going to erupt, and what are the precautions you have to take? in a situation like that? Or is it something not to worry about?
Oh, yes, you have to worry about it. We have persons monitoring the volcano, persons that are specially trained in the University of the West Indies in Trinidad. And they have all their different equipment, set up at different points here in St. Vincent. So when the volcano is tuning up, they would be able to notify the authority. In December 2021, I think, 2020, we were notified that the volcano is showing signs of unrest. But it wasn't nothing to worry about until I think it was about in April 2021, when those of us who are living
Did we just lose Cheryl's voice? Did I just lose audio?
No, I'm still here.
move
Aaron's
from
still here.
Hello, you hearing me?
I hear you, Cheryl.
Yeah, so we had to be relocated from our home and go to a safer place in St. Vincent.
Okay, so it's like when we're gonna have a hurricane, you know ahead of time, you have to take your most important belongings, your valuables, and go to some kind of shelter?
So it's the same with the volcano.
Okay,
Only thing with the volcano, we take a little longer time in the shelter.
okay,
Depends on the hurricane and the damage the hurricane did.
Right.
You can move back to your home, but we have to wait until the scientific.
okay.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, you have beautiful scenery, beautiful mountain views. It just surpasses so much, so much negative. You have so much beautiful there. And you were beautiful for us today. We really appreciate you coming on the show today. And Alan, you want to continue with this interview?
Well, I would just like to say thank you.
What I will do next time, I will ensure that I let you see what I am doing.
Okay,
All
that would be
right.
great.
May I ask a question before we?
Sure, that sounds like
Absolutely.
Aaron.
No, this is Rick from
Oh,
I'm in
Rick?
Florida.
Hi, Rick.
Hey, Cheryl, I have a question about your local seasoning. You mentioned several things that are part of it, but I didn't recognize them. Could you tell me those again?
So what we use in our local seasoning here are things that are all grown in our backyard, or those from the farmers from the garden. We have what we call scythe. I don't know if we'll have a different name. Chive. Then we have what we have ginger. I didn't mention ginger, but we have the ginger. We call it, sometimes we say thyme. So we have the broad thyme and we have the small ones. And then we have onion and we have garlic and we say flavor pepper, but some persons like in Trinidad, they say pimento. And we have rosemary and we have shadam vini and tiki thyme, and all of these are local.
Okay.
So we get them, we wash them, we cut them up and we blend them, and we add our salt and we add our vinegar to preserve it.
So then your local seasoning, that you keep that refrigerated because it's like a paste?
Yeah, because after we finish blend it up, it will look more, like a paste.
Okay.
So we put it in the fridge. But sometimes at home though, at my home, I don't put it in the fridge because I use the vinegar as a preserver.
Okay. That's interesting. One more question. Is using fruit in a dish like that, is that a common thing that you do? That's kind of unusual for our American way of thinking. So is that something that you do with a lot of food, a lot of recipes?
Not really, but sometimes we can have, like we call a fruit dish, maybe for our breakfast, or at home sometimes if I don't want to have any bread or cereal and I have a lot of fruit, I put different fruit together and I have that for my breakfast. Like maybe I will have pepper, maybe I will have ripe banana, and it depends on the fruit that I can get at the time.
Okay.
Rick, I think you were talking about the breadfruit, right?
Right. I mean,
That's not
I'm
really,
sorry,
it's not really a fruit. It's more like a, and correct me if I'm wrong, Cheryl, it's more of like a, gosh, it has no real flavor of its own, right, Cheryl? It's sort of like a large thing, but it's not like a fruit like we think of, Rick.
okay. Well, I just was thinking about the banana and the plantain.
Yeah,
that-
yeah.
Is that just to thicken it, or is that?
I don't know. Over here, like breadfruit and yam and dasheen and plantain and banana, we refer to it as provision, but I think other countries, depends, may say it's a vegetable, I'm not too sure, but we call them provision. And we normally, they will tell you, we have to have a balance our dish, because the majority of these, fall under maybe starchy food, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. So it's more of just a convenience thing than anything, having what's on hand to go in your recipes. Is that?
Yes, it's what you like.
Okay.
Some persons like to eat a lot of rice. I don't. So anywhere I can get a chance to do some boil up, then I will do the boil up. It's like a soup.
Right. It sounds excellent. I would never have thought to put those items together on my own. So I really appreciate you sharing that. It kind of gives me a new way of thinking about, pairing things together.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Rick, for that wonderful question.
Yes. Is there anyone else in our audience today that has a question for Cheryl or Annette or myself?
I have a question for
Cheryl's
Cheryl.
wonderful recipe.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I have
Who is it?
this is Aaron, and I have a question for Cheryl. Yeah, you did a great job. So where can I learn more about your organization, Voices of the Disabled? Do you guys have a website, social media links, all of that? Where can I learn about that organization?
Cheryl?
I would like to get that question again. I didn't.
Oh, where
Where might I
your
get
organization?
You asking why you can have more information of the organization?
Yes.
Oh, we are on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. It's Voice of the Disabled /VOD. Voice of the Disabled /VOD. And once you type in that, you will see all about Voice of the Disabled in SVG.
Excellent. Very good. By the way, I volunteered in St. Lucia many years ago, so I'm very familiar with your region and the various ingredients down there. So you have a wonderful country. You have a wonderful, wonderful way of life down there. So really, really good show. Yeah.
Well, it's nice to have someone who is familiar with the ingredients.
Yes. Yes. Mhm.
Right.
Thank you for joining us today. Are there other questions from our audience?
Hello, someone have a question?
Well, Cheryl, I want to thank you very much, and Annette, and thank all of you in our audience for joining us today on the Cooking Without Looking TV show, St. Vincent Island edition. If you'd like today's recipe, Rick, and or any of the past recipes, please go to our website at www.cookingwithoutlookingtv.wordpress.com. Annette?
Absolutely. And if you'd like to enjoy today's show again or other shows that we have, go to our YouTube channel, Cooking Without Looking. You'll be able to enjoy this show again, catch something you might have missed, and or see past shows.
If
Alan?
you're a teacher of people who are blind or visually impaired, please feel free to use our show for your students, as many around the United States and more than 50 other countries around the world have done.
Also, you can check out Cooking Without Looking podcast. Sometimes it's easier just to listen on the go with the podcast anywhere you get your podcast, or even on Alexa, you can go ahead and enable that device as well to enjoy the Cooking Without Looking podcast.
And if you'd like to donate to Vision World Foundation to help us change the way we see blindness, oh, please help us. Please go to our website at www.cookingwithoutlookingtv.wordpress.com and click on the link at the top of the page. Or for more information, you can call Renee, our producer, at 305-200-9104. Once again, that's 305-200-9104.
Yes, and definitely come back for our December show, our holiday show. We don't have the exact date yet, but we will very soon. So on behalf of myself, Annette, and behalf of Alan, Preston, and all of us at Cooking Without Looking, a TV show, Vision World Foundation wants to thank you, everybody, and thank you, Rick. Thank you, Erin, for your insightful questions, and everybody else out there in our audience. We're going to say bye for now. Have a great weekend.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, guys.
for listening.
Thank you, Cheryl. Enjoyed it very much.
Thank you. Thank you.